You know, if
Cool.
yeah, that's.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I don't know. I guess I'm supposed to say a few things. Um, First of all, something occurred to me as I was coming over, and that was: do you ever have that moment when you look at your phone? There's an incoming call, and you look and you see the caller ID on your phone, and you've got a decision to make at that moment if you're going to answer it or let it go to voicemail. I have that. I'm kind of torn every time I look down and I see Jersey Jerry Foster. I'd show up. You're with me, right? Raise your hand if you're with me. I know. So I made it, I want to say 15 years here in Navarre without doing any of the plunges on New Year's Day. And I had thought that was a pretty good streak until I looked down, phone calls coming in, and it's Jerry Foster. I'm like, I'll answer it, why not? Because you have to answer it when Jerry calls. And there's been calls about car shows. There's been phone calls about piles of dirt. I remember one time there was a pile of dirt out on 399. That was a very important issue. We had to get that taken care of. Most of the time, though, when Jerry calls, it's because somebody is about to get some assistance, that he's going to lean in and he's working with somebody in the community to make sure that they're going to get the help they need. And that is something that you just want to be a part of. So when he called and asked if I wanted to do the pirate plunge out at the pier and jump in the Gulf of Mexico, I said, sure. Why not? I've been looking at the temperatures the last few years, not that bad. Get in, get out, no big deal. I think it was maybe 28 degrees. Yeah. One and done, my friend. One and done. That was it. And I'm out. I'm very excited that we raised a lot of money for that. I hope we raise a ton more money next year. I look forward to helping you in any way possible, standing on the beach with the sheriff, who's much smarter than I. See, because the sheriff got the same phone call. He looked down, he answered it, and he said, no. I'll help any way you need me to help as long as it involves me not getting in the water. But it was a great morning. It was, and it was great to see so many folks out there. And today is another example of what this community is about. When I leave here, I'm going to be heading with my fellow commissioner, Sam Parker, by the way. Thank you for coming down and joining us in Navarre, seeing how this is how local government gets done right here, my friend. This is it. We're going to be going, he and I and some others, to join with our sheriff, 3 folks that are responsible for a life being saved. They performed CPR on somebody that was in cardiac arrest at the Walmart until first responders could arrive, and they used the defibrillator device, and this person was revived, and they're alive and well today. Then after that, we're going to have a ribbon cutting for a new amenity that we're adding out at Navarre Beach called the Moby Mat. And for those of you that aren't familiar with that, this is an idea that was born from folks here in the local community. Tony Alexander and his brother and Charlene Morrow, they recommended that we add this to our beach. And it is a mat that will go from where the ADA access ends all the way out to the water's edge of the Gulf of Mexico, and then right and left down the beach to where if you're in a wheelchair or if you have a physical disability that would not otherwise allow you to get that close to the Gulf of Mexico, this is going to help make that possible. These are the types of things that show the heart of this community. These are the types of things that happen here in Navarre and in Santa Rosa County every day that you don't hear about, and some that you do. And it is so rewarding to be part of this community. It is so rewarding to represent you around the state. When I talk to people and they ask me what's it like at Navarre, and I'm like, it's the prettiest 3.8 miles of beach that most people will never find out about. And what makes it better is the people. We are a family. Now, families are they're gonna give each other a little back and forth every now and again, and they're gonna fight a little bit now and then. But at the end of the day, you're still a family. And that's what I love about this community. Jerry, thank you so much for what you and the Pirates do and the impact that you're making. I can't wait to join you again next year on the mainland.
Thanks, Rob. Protocol says I'm supposed to introduce people of distinction. Well, the reality is, to me, you all are capable of being that individual. So I'm going to ask the sheriff if he would come up. There is a picture I didn't put up on the wall of him handcuffing me years ago, but he wasn't sheriff then.
No, I was chief deputy, I think. And yeah, I did. I never hesitate to answer Jerry's calls because I can tell him no every now and then because I have a gun. So he calls me and he says, hey, I want you to do the polar plunge. And I said, well, let me think about it. No, that's how long it took. I said, I used to live in Duluth, Minnesota on Lake Superior, where the first day I got there, I had to go to school, and it was 50 below with the wind chill, and the bus still pulled up in front. And I'd just come from Taipei, Taiwan, where it's never cold. And I was like, oh, heck no. So now when it comes to anything cold, anything like that, no, I'm sorry. I'll stand on the beach. I'll help you any way I can, but I'm not getting in that water during winter time. So, but it was a great thing. We had a lot of people there, and the best part about it was, you had some people there from out of town. I talked to people from Destin, Fort Walton, that came over here because they know what Navarre's like. Navarre is the greatest place on earth to live. I feel that way anyways, and they come from all around. As a matter of fact, on my way into work the other day, I was writing tickets up on 87 because people drive crazy, and I pulled over a lady who was following me too closely. And I'm talking to her, and she said, hey, I'm trying to get to Navarre Beach. And she's going north on 87, north of Holly. And I said, well, you missed it. You got to make a U-turn, and you got to go back down there. And I said, where are you from? And she said, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I said, why Navarre Beach? And she goes, have you seen the pictures of it? And I said, yes, ma'am, I've walked on it. It's great, isn't it? She goes, yeah, nobody knows about it. I said, yeah, it's a great. They come from all over the place to celebrate our way of life. We get to have it every single day, which is a great thing. And we try to keep it as safe as possible for everybody here. And I think we're doing a pretty good job. We have our moments, but I think it's a relatively safe place to be, especially compared to the county to the east and county to the west of us. I think we got a very low crime rate, and we're trying to keep it that way. And the polar plunge was great. I think we raised a lot of money, and hopefully next year we'll do the same. And there were a lot of people there. Nobody got arrested except Jerry. I put the cuffs on him. But other than that,
Let me take them.
everything went pretty smooth, I thought. So, but thank you, Jerry, for your commitment to the citizens of Navarre.
Yeah.
You do so much for us, and we appreciate it. Hey, I broke the microphone.
I'm not sure, Jimmy.
I broke the microphone.
Oh, it came out. Chinese
All right,
products.
so we're gonna move a little bit differently than what I had planned, and I have some plaques for the sponsors. So when I call your name, if you'd come up and take a plaque, I'd appreciate it. It's just a small way of our Pirates saying thank you to you for your support of what we try to do in the community. So we'll hand those out. I had some trophies made.
Testing 1, 2.
Appears that they didn't show, so we'll just worry about that later. Before I do that, let me just say that I'm very proud what we were able to accomplish. Our club was asked the Thursday before Thanksgiving if we would do this to help the pier open, and we had 6 weeks to pull it off. Thanks to Randy, Tony, and Mark, we were able to really do something unique. Next year, we have more than 6 weeks. We've got, as Randy says, you got 12 months on New Year's Day. He said, what are you doing already for next year? So here's what we're doing for next year. We're coming before the board on April 9th to ask if we can do it again out on the Navarre Beach. Hopefully, they'll say yes. We have ordered a 120 by 60 pole-free tent, heated, with a 20 by 20 insert on the back end for a band, which we've already hired, and then 2 20x20s in the front, and it'll be airport style for registration. It was really a mix-up on our registration, and it just didn't go well. Plus, we'll have our PayPal on the website, and it'll be just a lot easier now that we know what we have to do to improve. We're also, the Pirates voted last month to go forward with a unique event. We're going to do a New Year's Eve dinner dance at the conference center. Lynn, raise your hand, Lynn. Thank you, Lynn. Lynn and her people there are letting us have the conference center New Year's Eve, again, to help the weekend food program. So we're working on a nice band, not a rock band, but something more appropriate. I've worked with a caterer that's done some things for me in the past that I feel can present a very nice meal that evening, and it'll be a fun time. And so the hardest thing for me now is to figure out how we're going to put a logo together for one shirt that says, Randy can see this is the Pirate Plunge, but now we got to figure out how are we going to get a dance in there for New Year's Eve. But we'll work on that. And again, it's you folks out here that are going to help us do it. So we thank you. We've already got one major sponsor, Pack and Facts, God bless them. They stepped up and said that, we're on board, and they're going to give us a lot of the printing for their sponsorship. So in-kind works very nicely. So having said that, let's hand out some plaques, and then I'd ask, after all the plaques are handed out, if we can all gather on the stage, and then I'll hand out a big check to the weekend food program. They did receive the check back in the middle of January. Didn't want to hold that up. We gave them a little over $5,000, as you'll see on the check, and we kept in reserve about $2,800 because I really got to spend some of that money to reserve the tent. So I think that with the two events next year, New Year's Eve dance and the Plunge, I think we can give them a check this time next year. Hopefully a little bit sooner than March 23rd. But we can give them a check for someplace between $12,000 and $15,000. That's my goal. So, but I can't do it without you. All right, so I'm doing this alphabetically, and I'm going to call you even. Tony, where's Tony? You going to come up here and help me? Even though you may not be here, I'm going to recognize you. Do I need to, does this work better? All right, sorry about that. All right, 98 Signs and Designs. Jamie did the signs for us. Did nice work. Backridge Tree Service. Rod's not here. I didn't see him, I don't think. Beach Community Bank. Cindy's here. I saw Cindy. Steve didn't show. Carl at Broussard's. Oh, I'm sorry, Mindy. Beauty and Beards. I didn't see. Chris is going to take it for her? Oh. No, you can go sit down. You'd be standing there too long. Captain Bill provided a lot of the sound for us. He couldn't make it. Sellers provided a case of wine with the logo on. We gave that to the owners, and thanking them for beauty. Community Coffee, Carolyn's here. God bless her for her efforts of providing 300 cups of coffee. She says she'll give us 600 next year.